Welcome everyone to our inspiring IAPC&M authors series, which you can also find on our blog and which does complement our book review club, which has been a great success. Now, if you are a practitioner wanting, dreaming, struggling to add a book to your business strategy, you are in the perfect place. Guests will be sharing not only their writing and publishing story, but also, and pretty important for us, is how having a book upscaled their businesses. So I, for one, am eager for their tips, their experience, and their expertise. So I would say grab a pen, grab your CPD pad. My name is Judy Kennedy. I am your IAPC&M host, and my guest author today is the wonderful Aylin Webb, master coach, anxiety and perfectionism specialist, therapist, psychologist, who not only boasts an IAPC&M accredited signature program, but is also an author. So thank you for being with us here today so we can learn from you, Aylin, you know, how you did it, how you joined the prestigious 3% club of those who actually make it to the end and get their book out there. So welcome. I mean, it is prestigious. 3% is not much. I think a lot of us do talk, right?
It's shocking.
It is shocking,
isn't it?
Yeah. But then I think, I mean, I don't know how many times I've started and stopped. So, I mean, I can totally agree to the fact that that is an issue, right? That the getting it out there is out there. But first of all, how does it feel to be an author?
It feels amazing. I think that being able to hold a book in your hands and say, wow, my son-in-law also said, isn't that amazing to hold a book that's got your name on it?
Yeah.
As the author, it is actually, yes, it feels an achievement. Yes.
Right. But sure. Was it an achievement which came at great personal cost, let's say? To you personally, I mean, first, let alone the financial aspect of it.
Oh, yeah. The financial.
That's also part of it, right?
Yes, I guess once I set my mind that this was a good idea, and I have to say that there is another book that I have spent a lot of time writing, which is being edited.
Okay.
And that one took a lot of time.
Okay, so what was the difference between the two?
This one was something.
Okay, first of all, say what it's called. Hold it up for a second. Hold it up so we can see it. Right, I didn't even mention, wasn't it? Did I? It's called Transformation.
So it's transformation through the power of quotes. So it's designed to overcome the tough times. And I personally found this was something that was playing on my mind for a long time. And I was over the years going and finding the quotes that really inspired me and that helped me go through some tough times, that helped with my mindset, that helped with my compassion towards myself and so on. So, but I would then take a picture of it and then put it aside, and then this is to remember, this is really good, and so on. But they were just scattered everywhere. And so one day I just thought, no, this has to come out, because I see so many people that are inspired, with my clients, for example, when I tell them one of the quotes, they feel a lot more inspired.
I totally agree.
And I guess, an important one.
I sent you the questions because I thought,
oh my God, sorry, what's happening here?
Depends on,
I thought it was us with a, sorry, can
no,
that be
it's fine. No, don't worry, just keep going,
something was going on, I could see on the side with some audio stuff, and it just started playing.
No problem.
Apologies.
No problem at all.
I thought of, for example, today, one of the quotes from Mark Twain, who said, there are two most important days in your life, or the two most important days in your life are the day you were born,
right,
and the day you find out why.
Oh, yes. Isn't that powerful?
Isn't that powerful? You can,
Right.
you can fill pages about
Right.
purpose, why you're
Yes.
here, and so on. But I think that saying that one quote
I agree.
actually makes my clients think
Yeah.
and go, oh, okay, so why
Yeah.
am I here?
It's
What do I
short,
want?
it's concise, and it really triggers something. So basically, your reasoning or your motivation was the fact that you personally had been greatly supported, stimulated, inspired by certain quotes, and this was something you wanted then to share.
Yes,
Yeah, so to the
exactly.
benefit of others.
And exactly, so that they can benefit from those wise words, be motivated.
And so the reason this went easier than the one you're doing now is because you already had that stash of quotes, right? So it was a question of structuring them and okay.
Exactly. And it took a lot longer than I thought it would, because I know I already have them.
Yeah.
But once you start structuring them, I had to find out, okay, how do I do with chapters? What has been working best with my clients in over the years, in our sessions? What kind of structure works best?
Right.
And so that's why I started with vulnerability. So
that's your first chapter.
Each chapter,
right.
Yeah. So each chapter has a theme.
Oh, but how lovely.
Yeah. And you start with vulnerability because without accepting vulnerability and accepting that it is a strength,
yeah,
you can't move on and you cannot initiate.
But that's a great resource actually for coaches as well. So, I mean, let alone it for ourselves personally, right? When we need to be picked up, inspired, or reassured in a way from a quote, but also if you have a client who's dealing with a specific issue, to be able to then delve into your book. Was it fellow coaches you had in mind when you actually, as in, was it part of your business idea?
It was clients, the ideally my thought was for the clients, and even they could have this alongside, or even people, maybe you love someone and you can see that one of your friends are having a tough time, and just passing this on, hey, you know what, just use the, if nothing, just open it and go, okay, what is my mantra for the day? What is my quote for the day? What kind of mindset do I go for today?
Yeah.
You can use it in a structured way, starting from your vulnerability. So it's really from taking you from anxiety, sadness, anxiety, tough times, to prosperity.
Okay, so your structure was based on past experience with your clients. What was the order which made sense, right? So that's what you used. Now, how did you go about this? Did you have somebody who you were accountable to? Did you work with an organization or with what's it called, a coach for writing? Did you do it all on your own? And how did you get past that 97% basically?
So I guess the perfectionism book,
right?
The Perfectly Human book is a big book. It's got many chapters, it's got many pages, and it talks about so many different things, starting from the brain, how it works, and how our thoughts, our emotions, our behavior, how they are connected, and so on. So there is a lot going on there. And in order to write that, I was a part of 90 pages in 90 days club.
That's Dawn's, right? Dawn Campbell's. Yes, I've heard a lot of good about that. Right.
Oh, it's absolutely amazing, and they hold you accountable,
right?
And they and Ruby, Dawn and Ruby, they did it together. So you are like, oh my God, I have got certain amount of word count that I have to finish in a week.
But that helps so much, right? Instead of just,
because it's so daunting to start with. You think, oh my God, how can I write a book? And so when you think about it, it's about 300 words a day,
right?
That, And it's a bit longer than a paragraph.
Yeah.
300 words a day. So, but of course, if you leave it, if you procrastinate, which is a part of perfectionism behavior, if you procrastinate, it then starts piling up. And then if you try to do it last day, you've got a lot of words to write.
Right.
So you really have to be disciplined to write it. And I did, it's finished, which is fantastic.
Congratulations.
But this one, I guess that I could use the principles from there. But I also wanted to use this as my first learning.
Right.
curve.
Right.
I thought okay, I don't want to make big mistakes at getting the big.
You are a perfectionist coach after all, right?
So I will learn about the process with a smaller book and see what difficulties I face with self-publishing, and learn about ISBN, how to buy ISBN and how to.
You did all of that on your own for that first book?
Yes, and it has been a learning curve, I have to say.
But I mean, that might be already a very good tip for our audience. Instead of starting with your masterpiece, right, the thing that's been rocking around your head for the past 10 years or whatsoever, start with something less, first of all in size, but also maybe less emotionally related to you, right? Because the quotes as well, I'm thinking in a way, it's your book, obviously, and you're putting it together, and the whole red line through it, through the topics that you're choosing, etc. But at the same time, you're using somebody else's words. So it's a bit less daunting than suddenly putting yourself out there for criticism. I'm thinking that's something which I know holds back a lot of us wannabe authors, is who wants to listen to me? And is it good enough? And are there already hundreds like that? And there aren't, because of course this selection of quotes that you've done is just your personal choice. So in a way, it makes it less daunting, and the structure was easier maybe to get clarified. Whereas, of course, when it's emotionally laden, lots of us have the problem, not so much of what content, but what to leave out, because by now so much stuff. It's like, it's nobody reads those huge books anymore. You have to have the intelligence to think, okay, rather do 3 different volumes, rather than just try and stuff in everything you've ever, experienced and learned about something. So that's actually already a very good tip, is to maybe start with a lower threshold. Now, why did you choose self-publishing for the first one? Was that for more monetary reasons mostly?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have to say it's quite expensive. So I thought if you give a friend of mine gave the whole package to someone to do both the graphics, the cover and the editing.
It's a whole world, isn't it? I mean, some people say writing's the easy bit, it's the rest which is hard.
It really is. Yes, it really, really is, because to find out about the publishing, who's the publisher, who's the distributor, and that there's a difference, and that you can limit yourself. For example, I've learned the hard way that, oh God, with KDP and Nielsen and all sorts of Lulu, and
what are all those things?
I found out, for example, because I had registered with KDP to list on Amazon, and then I went to Waterstones, and I said I would like to, in the the local Waterstones, I said I'd like to do a local event. Also because I know plenty of people here,
lovely,
friends and family that would come. And we can kind of promote that.
It's like a launch.
Where I could promote from anxiety to prosperity, and then have a talk and sign some books. And they said, oh well, if it's it needs to be in gardeners registry.
Okay, so
And I
certain,
realized it's
okay.
not, and then I contacted them, and then they said, "Oh, you're KDP registered. You can't be registered."
Right. Now, those are the sort of things we have no clue about, right?
I had to
Yeah.
contact Nielsen, have a split talk with them, and who's the distributor, and how, so there is lots, and also finding out someone that can understand what I want for the cover as well, and just all that copyrights, the stuff that you put normally in the opening, and then after it went up on Amazon, I realized there were some mistakes, so I had to correct and put up and so on. But it's okay. It's there.
That's a miracle. You made it, right? I mean, how did you manage to not give up? What kept you going?
It was, I was at some point, I was thinking this is not going to happen, because, with the formatting, I, for some reason, decided to have it in a way so that people could just have it in
put
their
it
bag.
in your bag, which looks very clever to me.
And like, because someone said to me, this is my go-to place when I'm out and about in the tube, and I'm finding myself worrying about something, I just open, and then I inspire myself with one of the quotes or two of them, and I thought it would be good to have it in
pocket to pocket format.
But then once it was all done this way, then they said, oh, you can't have it on Amazon.
There's a certain size.
So we had to reformat.
Right.
So, there was a lot of learning, but at that point I thought, it's just not going to happen. As the thought is there, it's lovely, but it's just exhaustion.
But good for you that you stuck at it. Good for you that you you now have all that wisdom as well. But I mean, if I'm thinking, concretely here in tips, I mean, maybe a tip would be, don't do the first one alone. If you need to get a specialist to do it, I mean, it's a profession in itself, right? It's a whole world there with loads of things that it's not so much even that we don't know how, is we just don't know what needs to be done, and all these different rules inside. And I think maybe we often make the mistake of thinking, that we with our knowledge need to do everything, whereas that is obviously what holds you back. There is the money issue, of course. I mean, what would you say your motivation was? I mean, were you hoping to make money from the book? Was it to have a business card? Was it to profile yourself as an author? What was your reasoning, apart from being of service, of course, to your clients, like we've already said?
Exactly. I think really that was
it.
All, that was for me. I saw how it helped. I know how it helped me in my tough times. And that I would have actually personally appreciate one that probably had some kind of structure that I could follow to come out of, finding that vulnerability is okay rather than trying to avoid it, and that it's a strength to admit it, and starting from there and learning to let go, having hope. So all of these are in a structured way, having authenticity and self-compassion, and looking at your values, what kind of things you hold dear.
When did it actually come out, your book?
3rd or 4th of October.
Oh, right. It's really recent. It's a new baby. Oh, congratulations.
It's a baby. Thank you very much.
I was going to ask, because also one thing I've also thought is, how does one know whether our book is actually doing what we'd hoped it? How do you measure the success of a book, for example? Have you had any feedback from people who've read it?
Amazing feedback. And
that must help, right? Because otherwise we don't know.
In the beginning, I was thinking, it's because they're my friends, or maybe they're because they're colleagues. But then I started getting feedback from people I don't know, and it's on Amazon as well. I have no idea. There are a few names there, and I have no idea who they are. And I'm like, oh my God, it is working.
See, right. And all you need is a few, right? I mean, I think it's perhaps not the best idea to set about doing a book with the idea that you're going to become, a best-selling author, or that, you're going to make tons of money. But I always feel that, if I can help even 5 people, I feel that's already a job well done.
Yeah, exactly.
So you sell it? Do you also, how do you get it out there? Because that's also something, it's fine to go through all of the grueling process, but then, if nobody ever knows about it, then it doesn't make much sense either.
Exactly. So it's on Amazon, but people need to know to find it on Amazon, obviously. So I promote it a lot both on my podcast.
Right.
So it's on my podcast. It is constantly on my social media, LinkedIn,
right.
Instagram, and Facebook. But yes, I think, again, due to money reasons, it's already taken up quite a lot of my budget.
Yes. Can I ask you how much, or is that pushing it?
Gosh, I got it printed, for example, in Turkey. So just printing it at this size, only the print was actually about around 14 pounds each, because they had to make a different setup of their printing machine.
Right.
So
how many did you print? Did you print a lot in one go?
The printed versions are 25 of them.
Right.
So when they're gone, they're gone.
Right.
And then there is the bigger versions available. And I have already given some of them as gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So
would you say it attracts you clients as well?
Yes, absolutely. And my clients found them also really useful. And one of them said to me that it would be a great Christmas stocking filler.
It's a wonderful gift to give people or friends, or even, I was thinking, my children are older. This sounds like the really good sort of gift to give to your child, that they can, older children, right? We're talking about 20s, that they can also find solace in there. Okay, so now you're already finished with your second book, so it's not out there, but so this one's only just published, and gosh, so once you got started, you really got rolling.
I've got several.
Goodness.
Yeah, because in the meanwhile, I came up with an idea about mindfulness and self-compassion, and so I wrote about that. And again, same idea. I thought this is a smaller book, so I can get it out there much quicker.
Right.
And then another one about imposter syndrome.
Fantastic.
So the cover is ready. The book is ready. Everything is ready.
So would you say that it gets easier and easier then? It sounds like it gets easier and easier.
Well, at least I know, when I found this designer who did such a good job with transformation cover, I said to him, well, I've got you here. Can you also see if you can, make a cover design for the next book? And he did, and I loved it. We just needed to do a few
adjustments, but exactly. So once you find somebody who gets you, right, then you see
it, you're like, wow, this is great. This is so powerful.
Wow, well, we can certainly be inspired by you. We've got another 4 in the baking there. If I were to ask you for 3 tips to share with those who are not there yet, what would you say are the 3 most important things to get your book out there?
I think, as we discussed before, maybe we don't have to get everything down. For example, like in my big book, which is not so big, but it's got everything.
Right.
And you accumulate so much knowledge over the years, and you want to put everything. And I think you also worry about what your colleagues will think.
They'll think,
no, this is not right.
Yes.
Because it's nonfiction, right?
Yes.
So you get everything right. So maybe just put some of your knowledge in there.
Yeah.
Pick just pick one subject.
Yes.
And put down maybe 200 words. It's just one paragraph,
Right.
really, a day. Just put down.
I like that, the idea of structuring it like that.
Yeah, it really helps, firstly, to kind of decide, okay, what am I going to write about? And you put that as a mind map in the middle. Okay, it's going to be about, I don't know, perfectionism. Okay, what kind of areas do I know or do I want to write about? And then you can kind of make different subjects, and those subjects are your chapters.
Yeah, and you're already in control, right? You're already less overwhelmed by this huge monster in front of you called a book. You've got it into little mouth-sized bites that you can actually do something with every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Just small bits and pieces. And for each chapter, if you think, okay, what are the 10 things that I know about this chapter? For example, if you're looking at the behavior of perfectionism, okay, what kind of behavior do perfectionists have? And you just put down the bullet points first, and a couple of sentences at a time. So just really taking small steps to
it's taking the pressure off. They're really the slow and easy rather than putting it down. And as I think lots of us think that it's only going to be one, but why would it be? It's not that I've only got money for one. You do it in the proper way. It will hopefully generate interest in your company, more clients or more credibility, etc. So it might not be the money you earn from the book, which brings you the wealth, let's say, but it's the awareness, getting invited to speak on podcasts and things like that as well, which all makes people more aware of what it is that you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, there are some authors that their first book that they wrote has been such a big hit, and it's been so amazing that they never came up with another book again. And no doubt that they might have had the ideas, they might have written,
but the bar was so high. Yeah.
That what are people expecting of me? What if it doesn't go number one selling book, and so on? And that becomes a limiting belief, doesn't it?
Exactly. So you're setting your expectations not so high, and that takes the pressure and the drama off, and enables you to get started. So you would definitely recommend that we all start writing books.
Absolutely, because everybody's explanation, everybody's book is different.
Right.
Even if someone has written about that subject before, they haven't written it the way you did.
That's a very important fact.
There are lots of books out there with lots of quotes in them, but no one has done it the way I did it.
Yes.
No one has done it in a way that it is structured. And no one has done it. It's got space for reflection 3 times a week as well. So you start with one quote. You start a week with one quote, and then you reflect.
Oh, wow. So you're actually working on yourself through the quotes.
Oh, absolutely. Well. It's a work.
It's not just I read the quote and that's it.
No. It's a practical workbook.
Right. I think you've already given me a good idea for my Christmas gifts for 3 children. Aylin, I thank you very much for this.
Oh, no, my pleasure. So I know that reflection every day can take the effect of it. So you go another 2 days just focusing, setting intentions in the morning. And then on the third day, how is it going? So you've got your reflection. What's in the way? What has been challenging me from working on the quote as well? And then you go another few days, and then at the end of the week, okay, so how did you use the power of the quotes to gain mind mastery and empower yourself this week? And then you come to next week, and it starts
right.
One quote and reflection.
Very clever. Very clever. Aylin, we're running out of time, so I do need to stop this now.
Yeah,
thank you so very, very much for sharing all these tips and this wisdom with us. Good luck then with baby number 2, which is almost about to be delivered, and number 3, 4, 5, which were already in the pipeline. So I hope to have you back here to share, more lessons learned as you went about it in different ways. And thank you very much for having shared this expertise with us here today. For the rest of you listening, I certainly feel that this has sort of taken a little bit of the demon out of it, and that indeed the idea of starting maybe with a smaller book, which is structured around something that I can overview easy, will help me to take the learning steps like Aylin did. She learned from that first book, and now, even though it was grueling, she's not saying the opposite. She's glowing, and that's what I want too. So I wish you all the same. Thank you, Aylin, very much, and all the best to all of you. I shall just stop right now.